weapons thrown.
Donnie Golden dancers or the area Within 30 minutes on that.
Good. And a wrap shot to the back of the head. Let's give Murdoch a hand. All right, who's next? Whoa. Oh, good shot by Nico. Nico holds the field. Who thinks that they can take down Nico? All right. Stand ready. Okay, again with sword and shield. Rosalie comes back now to take on Nico. Stand ready.
Ready.
Ready. Lay on.
Got a very long sword on him. So, grab him.
And again, Nico takes the field. Give him a round. One more time. Gonna go one more time. All right there. Stand ready. Lay on.
Yeah.
Tighten up. That was a leg check.
Okay.
Got her?
Yep.
And the winner, Nico. Now, who's next again? All right, now here comes Garrett to face the field again. Gavin, thank you. I knew there was a G in there somewhere. Stand ready.
Ready.
Hey, I got the second letter right too, right? There's an A.
Yeah.
Lay on. Oh, good shot to the leg.
Comfortable?
Good. Oh, nice 1-2 or 2-1 actually. And Gavin falls. Let's hear it for Nico. Now, sword and shield was the basic M1 of the medieval knight, but not the only weapon that they used. Sometimes when there was more armor, you needed the bigger gun, or in this case, the bigger axe. Yes, there is historical evidence of two-headed axes. Not always the kinds that you see in Conan movies, but this one is perfectly acceptable. Allow me. Okay, this one has two edges. He cannot stab with it. However, his butt spike is padded, so he may thrust with the butt spike of it. Okay, stand you ready, Murdoch.
Ready.
Stand you ready. I was asking him.
Sorry.
Stand you ready, Nico.
Ready.
Oh, and by the way, there's plenty of empty spaces to stand and watch over here. Come on. Oh, it's shady over there.
In the shade. Shade over there.
When are we going to evolve photosynthetic skin? Are you ready? Lay on.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, skinning blows, not hard enough. Good. Oh, repeated blows to the head, and down goes Murdoch. Nico invites him to stay in to continue the bout as he changes weapons.
No, I'm done.
Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's stepping out. Nico invites him to step in while he steps out and gives the field to Gavin. All right, sword and shield versus double-handed axe. Ready? Lay on. Roy just fell down. He just fell down, folks. He wasn't hit.
That's my theory.
Oh, good blow to Murdoch, and Gavin wins. for someone to put their helmet on. Let me show something here. Murdoch, if you would be so kind as to show me your body. I mean to say, what is on your body? You'll notice that he has these pretty pictures on his chest and on his shoulders. You'll notice that Nico also had a pretty design on his shield. These are known as devices, which, when a man is ennobled, would be referred to as a coat of arms, because as a noble, he has the right to bear arms in a medieval culture. Now, by this, one knows that he is noble, thus he must have property, he must have wealth. So when he goes into battle, there is a possibility that someone who has the opportunity to kill him when he is unable of defending himself will choose not to, because he is a man of coat armor, therefore he must have property, so I shall take him ransom and gain my fortune from his family. Just a little history lesson there. Stand you ready, Gavin? Stand you ready, Murdoch? And lay on! Good. Oh! A dramatic disemboweling, and Murdoch takes the field. Now Rosalie has come back, her gear being tweaked, and her energy refreshed. Murdoch, are you still good for this?
Yes. Do you mind if I take my leg back? Thank you.
Okay, they have agreed upon a convention. Sometimes we fight in a form that we call wounds retained. Whatever wound you may suffer in the match, you must continue to the next match. Sometimes we allow you to unwound yourself before the next match. Murdoch chose to give his opponent the option of which they would do, which is a form of courtesy, and Rosalie has decided not to take the unearned advantage of fighting a man with one leg. And stand you ready?
All right.
Lay on.
You want to get close?
No, that was the half.
Yes.
That was the half,
Yep.
not the head.
That was wood.
So you're up.
Yeah, that's good. That was it.
See the notch right there? That's your helmet. There you go. All right.
It's okay. Good news.
Stand you ready? Lay on.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, good to the leg there.
That's it? Basically, I didn't finish it, so I have stuff.
And a good blow to the head by Murdoch. Okay. All right, let's give Rosalie a big round of applause. Our new fighter. Okay. Gavin.
I see you every week. How do you do that?
I don't know, because, and my mother actually told me that she was thinking of naming me Gavin. Okay, stand you ready. Let's see if you can mix this up a little bit. And lay on.
with the grips, that would be a kill.
Well, if it was on the hip, but if it was thigh bone, it's just your thigh.
That's a thigh.
Yep. Oh, almost. Nice diving, but didn't quite have the oomph when it needed. Okay, now, Murdoch has sort of a choice here. He could stay back and snipe from a long distance, but what's the fun of that, right? There's no challenge if his opponent isn't within range. Oh! But his opponent creeped forward, and with a stroke to the breastbone, down goes Murdoch. Come on, make some noise, somebody. Longer handle, longer reach, with passo above the guillons, so you can check the dynamic. So, Murdoch takes the sword of war, while young Gavin stands with his arming sword and shield. Who shall be the victor in this pairing of contradictory styles? Let's find out. Lay on! With a mighty blow, down goes Gavin. One more, and then I'll talk to you, crowd, about a little bit more of what we're seeing here, and you guys can take a break from it later. Stand ready. Lay on.
No, I'm saying, like, are you set? Yeah.
So close. And Murdoch takes their round, holding the field against all comers. Let's give him a round of applause, folks. A little bit less, depending on style, material, and the size of the guy wearing it, which is roughly equivalent to what any soldier would have carried throughout the ages. Also, you'll notice an eclecticity of aesthetics amongst these fighters. We approach the Middle Ages with a very broad-minded point of view. We basically say if it happened before 1600 and you can find Europeans who knew about it, let's go with it. This particular style of helmet would have been, we're talking Norman, we're talking about 1100 so forth. Likewise, this cut of surcoat, the fact that he does not visibly have armor on his arms. He might have had a mail shirt under this, and these very distinctive shoulder plates called ailettes. What most of the other folks are wearing is kind of an eclectic mashup of some historical designs and some designs that came strictly out of the efficiencies of the sport, and I have a plastic barrel and I need to get onto the field, and I'll save up my money to get something that looks really nice later. Now shields are also a different thing. If we could have an example of another shield there. There you go. Now, when armor was basically just an iron helmet and a chainmail shirt, shields were big and long, longer than this, and roughly this shape. So that way it could cover you from shoulder to ankle while you're riding on a horse. There are lots of debates about how they were held, but when you see pictures with these bulbs on them, we call them a boss, it's very likely that it was held by one hand like so, which gives you a certain style of fighting and a certain mobility and flexibility to your defense. However, it does have weaknesses of it being spun apart or it being like so. And in real so later on, when steel plates were put on top of the armor, starting with the legs, the shields didn't have to be quite so big. When the helmet started covering more of the face, you didn't need this extra bulge up top. So the top of the shield was cut off, the bottom of the shield got shorter, and so you had this, which roughly goes shoulder to shoulder, chin to crotch. This, and also is held on your forearm, and that way you have a little bit, becomes a part of your forearm, gives you more a different kind of way you can fight, a different kind of way you can move and hold your horse, and brace yourself when couching your lance, when receiving a joust. So now leverage can still be used against this in certain ways, but that little spin that happened, that's not going to happen here. It kind of keeps the defense closer to home or shoots it out. Now, actual moves and techniques that we use, if somebody could hand me an arming sword, please. Yes, there are manuals on how to sword fight. Most of them are of the later period, but there are earlier ones, but unfortunately they didn't have stop motion photography back then. So back when our game started over 50 years ago, folks were just doing whatever they saw in the movies or whatever they learned in fencing class, until somebody who knew judo came in and said, well, if I threw a sword like I threw a body, how would it move? And other people started using the study of ergonomics and physics and so forth. So there are many different, there's as many different ways as to throw a sword blow as there are, say, ways to throw a baseball. One way that I like is a minimum of effort. Note that what's happening is my hand is not swinging in a circle, it's going in a straight line. And that way, I can develop, I'll hold that shield up like so. Also, look at the motion of my elbow. My elbow is making a big circle. It comes from a small circle in the shoulder to a big circle in the elbow, to a small circle in a straight line in the hand, to a big circle at the end of the sword. And there you go, a maximum of effort with a minimum of force. I throw in a little hip action, and there you go. But what if they're holding the shield like this person is very smartly in front of their head? The other side of their head's open, so what do? We hit them on the other side of the head. There's a million ways of doing that. But my principle of big circle to small circle holds true in that particular technique. Then, what if their defense is good for the left and right? What do you want to bet I can hit you in the back of your head while I'm standing in front of you? She's not wearing a helmet, I won't. But there is a way, again, with the big circle and small circle, to get that sword around to the back of the head. Did they do that in the Middle Ages? It's hard to tell. Is that picture of a guy like this someone stabbing him in the face or someone hitting him with the back of the sword? Hard to tell. So, are we doing it exactly like they did back in the day? We can't say for sure. Are we doing it in a way that works? Well, it works for our sport. And that's what we're doing. It is a sport. Any questions at this point?
How do you use the back edge?
Well, like I said, you got the wrap shot, and there's also a little tricky thing where I hit him here and he blocks the shield, right? Now, what if I just do that instead of that? It comes in at a different angle. Actually, that's more difficult. Oh, no, because I'm using the wrong hand. Boom, boom, and then come back that way. And there it goes. So long as it's there, you can also come back this way. It's there. We can use it. Now, they didn't have these basket hilts before like the 1500s and stuff. So a sword could be the front and back edge could be swapped around. Did they do that? I don't know, but it was certainly possible when you have a symmetrical weapon. It's also possible that double-headed woodsman's axes exist so that you don't have to keep sharpening one edge. When it goes blunt, you can just flip it over and use the other edge. Does a similar principle exist in the Middle Ages and why they had double-edged sword? Maybe, but then a lot of what we got is maybe. And a lot of it's maybe now because the Victorians thought they were right and we found out that they weren't. But that's another story. Any more questions? Yes?
Yeah. So the big circle and small circle,
Yeah.
how do you transit between the transition between from the big circle to small circle?
Oh, it's at the same time. See, the shoulder and the hand are making small circles. The elbow and the sword are making big circles. So it's kind of like the gears in a car. Any engineers here can explain that in engineering parlance? No?
If you think of a wheel on an axle, the axle has to turn a very small distance to move all of the circumference of the wheel. So it's the same idea.
All right, anything else? Yes?
Balance on big swords.
Very good.
A lot of it is to the taste of the fighter and the style they wish to use, but as you can see it right now, generally something closer to the hilt is preferred for people who like to work with pivoting around their hand in this push-pull sort of a thing. On the other hand, some people like to have it closer to the end so that when they put their body into it, or in a particular style that involves pulling back from the opposite shoulder blade, they've got all this momentum coming from all this mass closer to the end. So generally closer to the hilt than to the end, but it's all a question of what's your style of fighting. Rubber head on the mace. The nifty thing about the mace is that it's got a lot of weight at the end, and and there is no defined edge. You can strike with any part of it. Okay, everybody ready? Gavin ready? Murdoch ready? Lay on!
Good.
Lay on! Oh, swing and a miss!
Oh, that guy's pretty good.
What's our motto? Aim low.
Oh, okay. A little weird thing there. Okay, lay on.
Legs are open, Emma. Legs are open.
And a blow to the back of the head. And Murdoch takes that one. Gavin, Murdoch, stand you ready. Lay on. Whoa! Oh, that is no longer a mace. It is now a cudgel.
I think you broke it on my head, so that counts.
Who wants the game ball?
It actually is shaped nice for a small baton. All right, stand you ready, Gavin, Murdoch, lay on. Oh, good shot to the leg. Looks like they got each other's leg. And a rep shot to the back of Gavin's head. Down goes Gavin. Let's give him applause. All right, Nico is back. This time against Murdoch. Stand you ready. Lay Oh, interesting form, axe and sword. Note that he's got a thrusting spike on the base of his axe.
He started archery at 5.
Ooh, nice one too, but not hard enough on the way.
Good head.
Oh, and there you go, an offside shot to the head. Want to give him just one more? Just, who wants to see just one more? Say it with me, just one more! Just one more! Just one more! How can you deny these fine people? Stand you ready.
Ready.
Lay on.
No.
All right, and Nico takes the field.